We're back on another episode of Beyond Two Bridges. Ryan Donally here, co-host with my friend
Matthew.
And today we're going to talk about our little 5 minutes here, 5 for fighting, 5 minutes in the penalty box, kill 5 minutes, whatever it might be. We're going to talk about you, Matthew, and things that you get up to.
Yeah, well, this all stemmed from a small transformation that you may notice.
Your hair's different.
My hair's a little different.
Hey, you don't have a mustache anymore.
I don't have a mustache. And for those who have been joining us from the onset of Beyond Two Bridges, I've now shaved my mustache twice, both times for costume purposes. The first time was for Halloween, but this time I'm doing a show.
Doing a show? What are you doing?
So I'm in Windsor Light Music Theater's production of Frozen, Disney's Frozen, and I play Hans,
Snowman?
No. Okay. So I was
Hans and Franz.
I was hoping that you kind of knew the character.
Know. Not even a little bit.
All right. Perfect. So he's a prince, and
of course that makes sense,
right? Clearly.
There you go.
And he's younger,
non-mustache,
and so not the mustache being removed, from what I've been told, de-aged me by a couple years.
Oh, so you look younger.
Yeah.
What do you think out there, folks? Do you think Matthew looks younger? 20-year-old.
Well, that's the character's age, not necessarily my age, but yeah, darker hair and no mustache. So this is my chameleon moment.
Tell me, so you walked in the Monday morning a couple weeks ago, and you're like, "Oh, I look different." Tell me about your first thought when you changed your hair and your mustache. What it would do to the podcast.
It's true. Okay, so I mean, this is a shout out to Chris again, because in the moment I was sitting in my hairstylist's chair and I said, "What's Chris gonna think about this today?" Because I knew that the continuity was going to be completely screwed up.
Continuity's off.
Continuity is off, and I no longer will fit the mold of what we've created here at Beyond Two Bridges.
Correct, because not all of this is in the exact same chronological order as we film it.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true. That's live breaking news. That's an insider trader information.
Yeah, now you know. Behind the scenes with Beyond Two Bridges.
Yeah, but I mean, what I'll say about my appearance, I have often over my years changed the way I look.
Yeah, go back to Shane Potman episode.
Well, I mean,
there's a picture of you dressed up as Little Nicky. Actually, that was your normal attire, but you look like Little Nicky. Adam Sandler movie from the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Not very good.
Well, I mean, depends on who you ask. I mean, over the years, I've done some crazy things. Again, with my background in the arts, I've had the opportunity to do some crazy things, including one time I was a model in a hair show at the Kabuto Club. And so I just had to sit on stage, and hairstylist came and bleached my hair, put green in it. It was short and spiky. I've done crazy things.
Okay, so my transformation, I used to be a hockey player. I've gained 50 pounds since then. I've transformed.
How many times have you said that joke on this podcast alone?
No, okay, but honestly, I used to have a mohawk.
Okay.
So I had long hockey hair for a period of time. Not long, but kind of scraggly hockey hair.
Sure.
And then one night in Las Vegas, my friend Mark from the Blue Man Group shaved my head into a mustache. Not into a mustache. Shaved my hair into a mohawk.
And then were you conscious for that?
I was wide awake.
Perfect.
Maybe not. I was maybe a little inebriated.
I was going to say, so did you give him permission? Was it consensual?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd see if I can find the photo. That'd be cool to show.
Yeah, that one is.
I'll try to grab that.
We'll have
it was long, so it was floppy and not sticking up. And then I ended up actually coaching after that because I had injuries or whatever. And then I shaved into a shorter mohawk. So I've got a photo of me for sure. Maybe I'll try to find it, of me coaching a team with a mohawk.
Interesting.
And now here I am. Chamber of Commerce.
Just to touch on that a little bit more, within the season of a hockey tournament.
Whatever.
There's superstition involved as well, right?
Yeah.
So you get to a point where you stop shaving and all that. Did you do that?
No, I was never good enough, so my superstition didn't matter. But I did think it was kind of cool that I had a mohawk for a while. My dad thought it would look like an idiot.
Did you dye your hair or anything? Have you ever?
Oh, I've had blonde hair. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I've got blonde. That was
frosted
back.
tips.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely.
You and I have
photos.
that in common.
Yeah, frosted tips. You do that usually though. So yeah, my dad thought I was an idiot because I got in a fight because he didn't know that. I got in a fight. My helmet came off and he's like, do you have a mohawk? You look like an idiot. So,
Perfect.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I love that.
Anyways, I'll track that down. Tell me a little bit more about Windsor Light and the play.
Sure. I mean, I've been involved with Windsor Light since 2005. I've had positions throughout the entire organization. I was the president. I've sat on the board of directors for 7 years, and now I am back doing what I love, which is the creative side. So I'm on stage and I'm going to be directing a show coming up in the fall. But yeah, Frozen, it kicks off at the beginning of May 1st through the 10th. We have 8 shows at the Chrysler Theater, St. Clair Center for the Arts. Tickets are on sale. It's a great show, family show. And like I said, I get to play Hans. So I sing Love is an Open Door, which is one of the quintessential Frozen songs. And I get...
Let It Go.
Let It Go is another quintessential song. But yeah, I get to be, interestingly enough, this character gets to be the Prince Charming character at the beginning of the show, but then he has some ulterior motives by the end of the show.
Does he survive? Does he make it to Frozen 2?
He is not in Frozen 2. Shocker.
Does he die?
No. It's a
spoiler alert.
It's a Disney show, so no one, that's
he becomes
true.
unalive.
No, he's there. He rides off in the sunset by himself.
Oh.
So, but it's really
That's not
fun.
going to be your story though, right?
That's right.
You're a prince now and you will be a prince forever.
I will be the Chambers Prince. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
And you can be the king.
Oh, we don't need that. All right. Anyways, that's enough time for us chit-chatting about Matthew's hair and my mohawk. So today we've got a great guest on the program, Justin, who has phenomenal hair.
He does
Justin
have great hair.
from Meta Excellence. We spend about half hour, 45 minutes talking about small business, understanding his business, learning about meta and metacognition and all the cool things that he teaches. And why don't we get right back into it? So again, Ryan here with Matthew, about to kick it off with Justin Teeuwen from Meta Excellence. Justin Teeuwen is an international motivator speaker, author, educator, and performance coach with more than 20 years of experience across education and industry. He holds a PhD in education focused on cognition and learning, along with degrees in physics, education, and is taught globally at every level. As co-founder of Meta Excellence, Justin helps individuals and organizations unlock higher performance by turning complex learning and mindset research into practical tools. Through his Meta Excellence framework, he equips people to strengthen how they think, feel, act, and lead. Today, we're very excited to have our good friend Justin on the program. Okay, so we're here with Justin.
Yep.
Who is Justin Teeuwen? Tell us about yourself.
I've got an extensive background in a lot of different fields. Why I'm here today is as one of the co-founders of Meta Excellence. And, my background hails from academia. That's where I started. I was involved at the University of Windsor for a long time doing multiple degrees and very happy with my experience there. And then during my time while I was there, I was also building my business, building Meta Excellence. Yeah. And so I'm a blend of both science and art. I also have a background in dance.
Dance?
Dance.
What type of dance?
I was raised in ballet and tap primarily.
Really?
So I have extensive training in both ballet and tap, but then I expanded into other forms. And it was after my first degree when I was doing a little bit of my master's in physics, but I was also pursuing a professional...
So you do master's physics?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so we have a tap dance ballet? No.
Ballet as well.
Ballet.
Yep.
Undergrad, what's your first degree?
Also physics.
Physics?
Yeah.
Master's physics?
Yep.
Then PhD, or did you do
I did a Bachelor of Education.
Okay.
And then I did the PhD later.
Okay.
So 4 degrees.
4 degrees.
Yes.
Okay. And your PhD?
Trying to catch them all, right?
Your PhD was in?
My PhD was in education with a focus on cognition and learning.
Hence segue to meta.
Yeah, it's actually where I discovered the first of our 4 tools, metacognition. It was this innocuous line in a textbook, and it was saying, metacognition is really important for problem solving in mathematics. And I'm like, that's cool. What's metacognition? And so I started rabbit holing from there, looking into it. What I focused on in my research was it transferable? I was curious if this idea, this ability of our mind to think about our problems from a larger view while still experiencing them at the ground level, I was curious if I taught that to people, would it transfer? And what my research showed for the first time, actually historically, is it did. It transferred across areas. And so this fit right into what we were already doing as a business, because we were focused at the time on more on the consulting side, but we were starting to build training programs and workshops and offer those. So we said, well, everybody's going to want to know about these cutting edge tools. And so that's where that came from.
How do you feel like this is something that I haven't done, and I don't know if Matthew, you have created knowledge for the world, right? Like knowledge creation. Like, how did that feel when you're like, look, you have patents or certain things, but you created knowledge that just simply didn't exist before. How does it make you feel?
Well, this comes back to that origin I have in both art and science, where when I was training as a physicist, I was also training as a dancer, and something started to cross in my brain, and I started to become creative. For the first time, I felt in my early 20s. And so that led to this desire to explore and to create. So, one of the challenges of academic rigor is, how do you discover something that no one's discovered? How do you know it's actually something new? How do you know it's different? And so it's very thrilling. It's, I compare it a lot. I don't have children, but I compare it a lot to like an idea baby. It's like having a child, that you nurture and take care of. I'm happy to visit. Anytime. It is demanding like a child. Of course, children are so much different than that, but you can think of it in a similar way. And so having these creative babies is a very fulfilling part to my life, for sure.
So it sounds like, the concept, the foundation of meta excellence started while you were still in school.
Yeah, we originally started in 2013, so it goes back a ways. But 2021 is when I really cemented down the understanding of metacognition at the time, and we'd already discovered as well metaemotion, which was actually a new tool and term. It was only coined in 2016. I was the first to author and coin metawellness in the literature, and I'm currently in the process of authoring on metacharacter, which is a character-based approach to leadership. And so each of these we saw as like part of that suite of skills that we want people to be able to harness and to succeed in whatever it is they do. And they all involved, that term meta. It's not just a brand.
It's not just like Facebook.
No, it's not, which is its own separate story we were chatting about earlier. So meta is actually the ability to look down on a situation from a 30,000 foot view while simultaneously experiencing life at the ground level. And so you are at the same time experiencing what you are, but aware of what you're doing on a larger scale. And then with each of the four parts, cognition, that's at a thought level. What am I thinking about in this moment? And where do I want my thoughts to be at a larger scale? And then meta-emotion is that at a feelings level. What am I feeling right now? Where could I see my feelings navigating next? And then same for wellness, when you're thinking about what your actions you're taking in your well-being. And then finally in character, where it relates to your leadership and how you're embodying who you are.
Well, and I don't know if all of our listeners know this, but we've been through a pretty extensive training program with you, our whole team. We had a wonderful experience and learned quite a bit.
We had a lot of fun working with you.
It was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
I think, from my perspective as the leader of that group, camaraderie, collegiality, just general knowledge, self-awareness, independent leadership. Like there's tons of stuff we pulled out of it. So thank you for that.
Yeah, it was really exciting for us. One of the most fun parts is not just building the programs, but when we're delivering them with a team, we watch them evolve as they go through the experiences. And the hardest thing for us is to like hold back and not say and take away from that learning experience, and to just see what nugget someone is going to take out from a given situation, and then watch as they each share that kernel of knowledge with each other as the team starts to grow and expand. Because our commitment is by the time people are done our programs, we want them already utilizing it and applying it live and on the job.
I'm so sorry for cutting you off.
No, because I was going to ask, but I'm going to wait.
All right. Well, what I was going to say is that I think I remember you saying in one of those lessons that we had, and it was like a weekly time where we came together. One time you had mentioned that the activity that we were doing, and I don't want to give anything away. I want people to experience it for themselves. But you said this was the first time that a group was doing this activity.
Correct.
So how often is your programming changing and evolving with the people that you're working with?
That's a really great question. Speaking of creating, we're constantly iterating. So our programming is constantly getting updated as research is being updated in the literature. As we find new materials, we then update our programming and update our technology, the content that we deliver, so that people are always getting the most up-to-date version. You're right. That activity we ran, the reason that was a new one is when we had last run it, we said it was good, but we want it to be excellent, meta excellent, if you will. And so we revamp our activities frequently, especially as we observe from our own direct observations, but also the feedback we receive. So we make modifications to our programming pretty much every time we iterate, every time we deliver. Oh, wow. There's at least a couple little things. I was just reflecting because we have another company out of Toronto that we're working with right now, and we just updated one of our larger frameworks, one of our larger models. And I said, we've got enough time, but we haven't sent out the booklets yet. Let's update and give them the most up-to-date technology that they can have.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And we learned that Matthew is ultra competitive.
Yes. I mean, all my friends and my family can attest to that. But yeah, I do enjoy a healthy competition.
Yeah. And how did you perform on all those competitions?
I mean, we don't need to get into it because, again, we don't want to give anything away. But I self-reflected a lot about the desire to do better.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
Well, it's interesting. The origin of competition was working with someone else. The term competition actually means to work together to strive for better.
Oh.
And so it's not about being the best. It's about working together to reach higher levels.
Right. And I was going to kind of play on that is that, sometimes when you work alone, you perform better than you assume you're going to. But again, with the expectation of working in a team environment, it's often you just have to pivot sometimes, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
So.
It's almost like if you've ever done running or any sort of race-based sport, you always hit a higher speed when you're with someone than you are on your own, because that competition spirit is there. So long as it's that friendly collegial form, it really can result in growth.
There's some inter-office competition happening, and
we're going to go with collegial.
Matthew didn't win a few at the beginning, but that's okay.
It's
okay.
It's fine.
A lot of the activities that we design, we actually set them up for growth to occur. So we saw that. Even when people win the activity, there's still a moment to reflect. And what did we gain from that? What worked? What didn't work? And how could we enhance our performance even better? Because we purposefully construct them in a way that they're challenging. They're challenging to accomplish, but even if you accomplish them, how can we make that achievement even greater?
So, if you would have done more dance-based competitions, I would have excelled in our office.
I've got two left feet.
So we'll keep
that in mind.
I was going to say we'll play into that. Yeah.
Dance competitions.
Listen,
I don't know.
Now you speak my language.
No, but it was a lot of fun. We had a great time, a lot of learning. So, what's next for Meta?
Our main focus over the last few years has been solidifying our training programs and our workshops. And where we're at right now is we're just in this phase of expanding out of Windsor. So we're now seeking and recruiting and working with clients through other cities. We have all the way to BC and all the way into Toronto. We're now looking to expand into the United States as well. Our trademark for our program which we filed back in 2021, finally came through. So we're now expanding into the United States market, into Canada. It's actually now an R.
R, registered trademark.
So TM is like a dibs. It's like saying dibs on an international scale. But when you have the R, it means you've registered it. So now it's part of your intellectual property. So we now are upgrading all of our paraphernalia to have the R. So if you have the TM stuff, that's going to be exclusive.
I know, it doesn't even have it yet.
Yeah.
With that kind of segue, when do you feel, as an entrepreneur, as somebody who owns your own business, when is the aha moment there? When is that, that business decision kick in where you say, this is the time, this makes sense for us to expand or grow?
I do believe that it'll vary with each business, but I can tell you where ours is at. Quality is a huge concern for our work. And so when we're delivering out training programs, for example, if I had enough demand that I didn't have enough trainers to meet that demand, then I would just have to create a wait list because I wouldn't want to just farm out, even though our programming, we have a huge back end behind it that explains how to deliver it and how to support it. There's still a significant amount of training that goes into our facilitators. We use an apprenticeship model. So for example, I'm the lead facilitator and we have a junior facilitator who's actually apprenticing and observing. And then eventually they become the lead facilitator while still being monitored. And then eventually they graduate to being able to be independent with just check-ins. So that takes time for someone to move through that process. So we temper our growth at Meta with how quickly we're able to train as well as recruit. So I would say that the sales is somewhat of the initial driving force, but then it's also on the training side. How are you calibrating and training your team? And that's often a big challenge. When clients come to us, one of the major reasons they come to us actually is because they are rapidly growing and they don't have the means to train their team in those raw skills that they need to perform on the job. They can give them the technical aspects, but they want their team to level up their performance as they're in this wave of hiring and growing. That's one of the reasons people usually seek us out.
So before we go to the break, how about a nugget of information that our listeners at home can take and just go, like a quick sample of like something that they can learn to take away with them like right now?
Absolutely. I'll give one of the best performance tips that I can provide. And I'll do it in the form of a question. It's
like Jeopardy.
Yeah, a little bit like Jeopardy. So it has to do with how we plan our time. Now, we all know about like 90-day goals, and we all know about larger, planning on a macro scale, annual plans, and so on. But I'm talking right now on a micro scale, where you're dealing with a problem where you only have 10 minutes or an hour, very, very small scale problems. How much of a person's time do you think an expert spends on planning versus a novice? So let's talk about an expert. At an expert level, how much of an expert's time do you think is spent planning?
Probably 10%.
10%?
I would say planning stage, 25%.
25%. And how much do you think a novice would use?
I hope that they would plan longer.
Yeah. I mean,
So I don't know. More?
I'm going to go
More than 10?
More than 10%?
and I'm going to say less than 10%.
What would you say?
If I had to take a guess, I would say like 8%.
Yeah. So novices only use 1% of their time planning, and experts use 10. And so you nailed it, and you nailed it to some degree. You guys were both close. And so
I've been through the program before.
And yet we still didn't have the exact answer.
So one of the challenges with planning is it feels counterintuitive. You're in a rush. You only have 10 minutes to do a job. So you might think, well, I don't want to give up time. But if you give up 1 minute to say, what am I going to do with the next 9 minutes? Watch how your efficiency just really jumps up. Of course, there's a method to how we can do that. We show that to people. But the big nugget is just taking a little bit of your time to say, I've only got this much time, spend a fraction of it putting together a plan of how you're going to approach the situation, whether that's opening up a box of IKEA furniture, answering that email, whatever it is. Taking time to thoughtfully plan before you take action results in huge performance growth.
And I think that was one of the takeaways both Matthew and I had. I mean, you're a better planner than I am, but that was definitely one of the takeaways I had. Seeing some of our performances fall a little short because we didn't spend the time planning in advance.
Yeah.
And we were debugging instead. So,
Which is very common, right? You open up the box of IKEA furniture and you just start assembling pieces and you don't even realize maybe I should have taken inventory of all the items in the box to make sure I had all the parts.
you're trying to save marriages, essentially. Like
It can save a lot of things.
you try to build IKEA furniture with your partner, look out.
It can be a really good growth activity. You just got to be able to come at it not in a rush. You can be crunched for time, but you can be methodical and thoughtful about how you're actually engaging.
We're not. All right. Let's take a break. We'll be back with Justin and Meta Excellence following the break.
All right.
Running a small or mid-sized business is no small feat, and taking care of your team shouldn't be complicated. That's where the Chamber's plan comes in. It's Canada's #1 group benefits plan, trusted by over 32,000 businesses nationwide to provide stable, predictable coverage year after year. With guaranteed coverage for companies as small as one and no medical exams, the Chamber's plan offers pool benefits, ensuring nominal annual renewal rate increases. It's built to support growing businesses right here in Windsor-Essex. Plus, employees get access to 24/7 support, and employers get free HR, legal, and financial expertise through business assistance services, helping you protect your people and your business. So if you're ready to give your employees benefits they can count on, reach out to the membership team at the Windsor-Essex Chamber of Commerce to get started today. Because the Chamber's plan isn't just coverage, it's benefits made simple, stable, and smart.
All right, we're back with Justin from Meta Excellence. Favorite part of the program, or maybe not favorite part, one of the favorite parts of the program is when we get the opportunity to have our guests try local flair, local flavors, local products. So
Cool.
I'm going to kick over to Matthew to talk a little bit about it as I take the cloche off.
That's right. Perfect. So today we have a product that I enjoy quite often, and it is Darrell's bars. So I don't know if you're familiar with Darrell's bars, but they are manufactured here in Windsor. And they started off as a small, and yeah, please pass it around, a small bakery here in the region. And they've since grown to selling across Canada and the United States.
No way.
So they're high performance protein bars. They also have they are gluten-free, vegan. I mean, the gamut of what a protein bar should be or a performance bar should be. So please take a bite.
All right, let's try it.
I'm not going to chew right now because remember a few episodes ago, we were all chewing nuts or dates and none of us could talk. So it was literally dead air for a period of time. It's great if you're watching on YouTube, but when people are listening in their car drive home, not the best for radio. What are you thinking? How's it tasting?
What I really enjoy, first off, I actually highly recommend protein bars for people who are looking for an emergency meal,
Okay.
right? It's one of the best ways to save money. You know, when you're hungry and you're in a rush, we often turn to fast food.
Yeah.
We often turn to something like really, really quick, but it's not necessarily nutritional. I think I'll pass for the moment just so I can continue to chat, but it's actually quite delicious. I don't like things too sweet,
Right.
and this isn't. It tastes healthy. It tastes like something that I would keep in. I've never had this before, but I actually would keep this on reserve.
Yeah.
Depends how much protein is in it because I usually like getting like a high amount of protein as a quick meal.
So the great thing about this is that all of the bars have anywhere between 25 and 28 grams of protein in it. So it's high protein count. Again, this is why I enjoy them. And they are readily available at pretty much all of the local retailers here in the region. So, I mean, again, I highly recommend them. I enjoy Darrell's bar.
Yeah, I mean, they were tasty. Like I've had different bars and I find most of them are very sugar intense. And I actually prefer that this one isn't. It's not as sweet. And, for me, if I were to grab one, this would be the kind of thing I would grab.
Excellent.
To go to.
I wonder how much I have in my teeth.
A little bit. I see it.
Perfect.
So let's keep going into meta excellence and kind of where you see yourself continuing to grow. We touched on before the break how the chamber had you in, and we enjoyed participating in. Remind me, phase one, level one. And so, explain to all of our viewers how meta excellence is set up with respect to the levels and kind of how you grow within the programming.
Absolutely. So, one thing to note, of course, level one automatically implies that there's room for additional growth, and there are 3 total levels that you can move through in terms of depth of the curriculum. So as you move to level 2, you get a even deeper look into each of the 4 main areas. Cognition, emotion, wellness, and leadership, character. And so how as you move up in the levels, you're getting deeper into more advanced topics as you're moving along. And then we have a level after that, which is to become certified in training. So how you would actually be able to train and operationalize it. So the way I look at it is for many organizations, they may want to get to a point where they're training their teams locally. So being able to do that would be moving some of your team all the way to the point of being able to be trainers who then could just continue to train the team internally, which is a big cost saving, of course, because you're administering it instead of having it administered for you.
Sure.
But it also keeps that facilitation level up too that you're looking for. So it all depends on where people are at in terms of their journey and how they explore the curriculum. One of the big focuses that we make sure is that people are already applying what they've learned before they go to the next level.
Right.
because a lot of times when people are looking at training programs or professional development, they say, well, I have the knowledge, so I should be good, right? And I actually compared a lot. Excuse me. Just going to take some water here.
And while you're waiting, Meta Excellence is an affinity partner for us. So if you are a member of the chamber, do some homework, reach out to us, talk to Justin, and find out how you can bring Meta Excellence into your workplace.
Thank you. Yeah, and we do have perks for chamber members that are exclusive to chamber members. So one of the focuses that we do in our curriculum is making sure people are applying what they're using. And I compare it to the gym. If you think about going to the gym, we all know if you want to get more fit, you go to the gym. And the knowledge is there, right? We're not looking at you on purpose.
No, it's fine. It's fine. A couple gym goers. I mean, Matthew probably worked there 3 times already today. But okay.
So what's important is not just that you're going to the gym, but that your form is correct, that you're keeping up with it. And that's why professionals at the highest level still have trainers. And multiple trainers, actually. One of the questions that come up sometimes is people will say, well, I already have a coaching system. Well, what's nice is our work is transferable, so it augments in conjunction with whatever training people are going through, so long as they're not overloaded with what they're absorbing. Because one of the big things we're aware of is the pace at which you're learning. You can only implement and operationalize so much. Otherwise, it's like trying to drink out of a fire hose. And so we want to make sure that we have that spatial learning and that people are synthesizing the work as they go along. And once they are able to show that they are applying it, which is when we come in and do that evaluating along the way, we then say, okay, it's a discussion, and we say, yeah, you're ready for that next level. You're ready to go deeper with the curriculum.
So in terms of a timeline of an organization starting at level 1 and moving all the way up, do you see it fluctuate then very drastically, organization to organization?
Yeah, what I've noticed is, and one of the advantages of working with us is we are symbiotic with the company we work with. So we have a tolerance of distance or space between modules that we recommend, no longer than a month and no shorter than a week. If you try and do multiple programs all at once in one day or in a straight week, you'd get diminishing returns. So we space it out. So the fastest, like you received the program fairly rapidly. It was weekly, right?
Right.
And so then you have time to implement. And we recommend doing 1 level per year. That gives you enough time to really operationalize it and build it in as a habit. You'll hear all kinds of things like it takes 21 days to build a habit. Sure. Well, that depends on what we mean by habit and how deep we want it. I want it at the point that you forget you're doing it. So to get to that level takes a lot of practice and a lot of feedback. So we recommend 1 year per level for organizations who are looking to move their way through the curriculum.
That makes sense.
And do you ever do, is it always multiple week programming, or do you ever do shorter arc?
Yeah, great question. One of the companies we're working with right now, the overall program that we designed wasn't the right fit. They're a smaller team, younger business, and so they were looking for specialized workshops that dealt with unique topics. So we built a custom designed solution for them that was shorter in length, just once a month, and really touching base on really laser-focused outcomes that they were looking for. So it all depends on the organization where they're headed. Part of our, onboarding process and working with a company is actually helping them through the strategic planning. We don't charge for that. That's part of our onboarding journey. And we actually work with the team to make sure, is our pre-designed level 1 program the right fit? Or do we need to build something more custom? Or is it just a series of workshops, or maybe just one workshop? Some places are just looking for that single workshop solution to a unique need that they have. And so we do offer that. But our main focus is on the longer term programs, because we know that you get more returns when you are visiting a program frequently.
Yeah. You've already touched on this, that Meta Excellence as an organization, as a company, is growing, and you're looking for facilitators and you're expanding. What do you, I feel like I completely just lost my train of thought there.
That happens.
Right. And I maybe it's just because I am.
I think you were focusing on the growth aspect.
Yeah. Or you're blending into the couch.
I think it's because I'm blending into the couch. Yes, that's exactly what it is. I don't even remember where I was going with that.
I think you're going to ask about what's the life like as a small business owner, and how challenging is it?
Yep. That's it.
That's exactly. I knew that was a great segue. Well done, Matthew.
Thank you.
I'm sure it'll come back
Well done,
if there
Matthew,
were other thoughts.
We know each other. We're challenging each other.
Absolutely.
Cooperation.
one of the biggest challenges as a small business owner is you wear many hats, and it can feel overwhelming. One of the big focuses that I know from metacognition, which is like that architect of your mind that's aware of what's going on. It was happening to me this morning. I was going through my to-dos. What do I need to do today? You know, setting that micro plan of what am I going to accomplish with the day. And I realized I didn't have a lot of time to manage all of those items. So what was I going to do with that long list of tasks that are unrelated to the urgent ones of today? Well, that comes down to your organizational system and really being able to compartmentalize all the different departments, the different hats that you're wearing into timeframes and windows where you are going to have time to address them. So dealing with your finances at a specific time.
You're bucketing tasks and projects. Okay.
Yeah. And one of the big success strategies that I use is minimizing task switching. You don't want to switch from dealing your bookkeeping to working on a sale to dealing with operations all in 10 minutes. Ideally, you want to try and focus your mind into a single category at a time. And so I actually did this strategy last week. I was overwhelmed with my emails. And so I looked through them and I used the snooze button. So I just took a bunch of them because I like working with a zero inbox.
Ryan does something similar, but it's just pretty much copy, delete.
I don't delete them. If you emailed me, my apologies. I owe you a response back.
So I snooze them and then set an account.
Funny joke, Matthew.
That I'm going to deal with it. You know, at that
I
later
like
time.
that.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So that's one of the biggest challenges as a small business owner is juggling all these things. So you have to clear your space and say, what's most important right now?
That's smart. Like, I mean, the amount of times that we are in the middle of something and then all of a sudden an email pops up. It shows them your bottom right part of your screen and you're like, well, I need to deal with that. But you're also working on strategy or you're also working on finance or a budget, whatever it might be. And immediately your brain is now switched to that email.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, you find yourself exhausted.
Yeah.
Whereas
overloaded, burnt out.
Whereas if you would have bucketed your day, bracketed it out, however you want to, sort it out, much more efficient, right?
Absolutely.
And probably higher quality across the board.
And, you have to also just accept the pace of where you're at as a business and recognize what you can do with the time that you have. Many small business owners also manage families, also maybe have a job that they're moonlighting to help subsidize their business while it's growing. I myself am a professor at the university and college. That helps subsidize the pressure off my business so it can thrive and succeed where I need it to. And so you have to just be kind to yourself, be gracious, and recognize what you're able to get done and be able to set aside what you are not able to get done at a later time.
Yeah. I mean, this is perfect because as you were talking, I remembered what I wanted to ask. Sure. And it kind of was a perfect segue with what you're just talking about is when you're looking at, it's because we're so symbiotic. Yeah. When you're looking at your week to week, what does that look like for you as a business owner? Like if I am stepping into Justin's shoes on a day-to-day basis, week to week, how does it look and does it change often?
I revisit it about once a quarter because my life does shift, especially because I moonlight at the university. My schedule shifts a little bit, but I have some general blocks that are important. Mondays and Fridays are creative days. So I generally keep those free from meetings, free from work and sessions. Well, this is actually part of creative
This
work.
is pretty creative.
It's why I opened up that spot for you.
Thank you.
But I will say it did interrupt any creative activity because I was just focused on being ready for here. So it was a different kind of creative action. So that's one of the big focuses I have is creating work, content, because that's a huge part of our work is producing new content, creating material. We have designated sections or slots where we will run sessions and seminars. And then I have designated time where I'm engaging in sales or engaging in the finance and those aspects. And I try to compartmentalize those into just a couple days. So all my meeting days are in the same time period. And I find a lot of success with that because I then can say I am for sure available here and I'm not available there. And it allows me to start making more strategic choices and use of my time.
But do you enjoy being a teacher? Not just being a prof at the college and university, but being an instructor through all these sessions.
I love the live part of being an educator, being a facilitator, watching someone go through the journey and facilitating that growth, facilitating the discussions. It's extremely rewarding to see them start to use it and start to make those changes. And I also learn from the sessions that I run. So the live part is immensely fun. I also take a strange pleasure in the planning side. It's a complicated relationship because planning is both laborious and effortful, but it's also like I get a bit obsessive and fun over the little details and making sure that the image is the right image and the look of it is just so. And, but it, you know, the actual facilitating part, that's where the learning really happens. The design is very fundamental, but it's the live facilitation that makes all the difference.
As a small business owner, obviously you have to wear multiple hats, and it's obviously constantly changing. Mm-hmm. One of that is the marketing side of Meta Excellence. And how do you find you are able to be able to do that just as effectively and efficiently, so that way the business can continue to grow while you're also planning and organizing for all of the actual sessions?
You know, it's a great point, and I wanted to mention this earlier, so I'm glad you raised this question. It's so important as a business owner to delegate out. And so I hire other businesses to support me along the way. So we have a business that's from Windsor that has been helping us with our marketing. So they help produce the marketing copy. They help schedule out our posts, things like that. We also have another company that we work with for our bookkeeping because it was just taking up so much of my time to try and handle those buckets. I immediately offloaded those. Last week, I was seeing a need for administrative support because I was doing manual assembly of books and it was taking so much time. I'm like, I could be better utilizing my time elsewhere. I could teach someone how to do this. And, you know, so I know people are often worried about costs, but every hour that I delegate out that was once on my plate, I profit from. And so it's really about figuring out who to send those pieces to. Right. I will say a service-based business like Meta Excellence requires a certain level of education, and that we have to educate people on who we are and what we do. I remember hearing this from a recent small business owner that I'd met. He said, you know, I didn't even know that I needed it until the end of our conversation. And so that I find is the biggest part of our marketing is just putting it out there and letting people know, which is why I love that we've partnered on the speaker series.
Right. Yeah.
Because the speaker series is a really great opportunity for people to get a little demo of the kinds of mini workshops that we can offer. And they can hear other local speakers who are also really talented and have their great ideas and businesses that are running. And so it's a really great networking event and networking opportunity, as well as a chance for people to kind of see what's all the buzz about for Meta Excellence.
Well, and I'm glad that you brought it up because I did want to touch on it as part of the Affinity partnership. The Chamber is working with you on those speaker series, and I think we have 4 planned out throughout the entire year.
Yes.
We've had one back in January, and our next one is coming up in May, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
And so, how long have the speaker series been a part of the Meta Excellence brand?
You know, we started in November of 2024.
Okay.
So this, the one that we just ran was our 6th. And we've actually had such demand that we're now expanding, and we have one in London that we're doing as well.
Oh, wow.
We're just putting the feeler out there, and we're trying one in London to see how the London community responds. But we've had enough requests that we're like ready to start putting it out there too.
And that growth in London, is that something that you guys are facilitating directly because it is?
Yeah, we found some unique partnerships to help us with, you know, facility and stuff, but Meta Excellence is slowly expanding its way out. So, you know, long term, I see our speaker series and events like that being in every major city.
Very cool.
And being as a accessible part to both small and large business, and help bring those like-minded people together to have a space to just dialogue and talk about the things that matter most to us.
And those events will be available for registration through the Chamber's websites.
Yes.
But how can people find Meta Excellence, the brand itself, online?
You know, we're on Facebook, Instagram, we're on LinkedIn. So Meta Excellence, if you just look it up as 2 words, it should pop up. We can also find us on our website, meta-excellence.com. And so all of our event promotion and that happens there too. So we're accessible through those 3 main platforms, and we're slowly figuring out other social medias as well. But those are the main ones that they can find us in as well.
We always ask a couple of the same questions to everyone. We'll start with the one about the secret sauce. What makes your business different, special? What is your competitive advantage, if you will? Like, what makes you special? What's your secret sauce?
I would say what makes Meta Excellence unique are 3 aspects. I mentioned one earlier. We provide symbiotic solutions. So we work with the company and the leadership team to really make sure that we're designing a solution that fits. So it gets customized to the team, to the individuals who are receiving the training or support. We also have individual programs for our solopreneurs that they can follow through as well with a similar idea in mind. We make sure that they're onboarded and working with a team that works at their pace. So symbiotic solutions is our first unique that really separates us out because we don't have a one-size-fits-all solution. We make sure to adapt it to the individual or group that we're working with. The second one is all of our work is transferable. And so the work that we have works at home, it works at work, it works in every context. And we want people to not have to put a work hat on. We want them to just get into work and just show up and get home and just show up. One of my favorite stories is one of our first clients. They had a senior software developer and he was like, I'm good at work, but I'm going to apply all these things with my wife and my kids at home. So that's what he did. And within 3 weeks, he became more engaged at the job. He became more entertaining. He was funny. He was cracking jokes. He was leading his team more proactively. So it was starting to trickle into the work, even though he was practicing at home. And we saw the same happen vice versa within the same team. There was another individual who was so focused on work, he was neglecting his home life. Sure enough, he started to clean up the home life, which reduced his workload and stress and burnout that he was experiencing on the job. So there's a feedback loop. So that transferable result is another big plus to our work that's really unique to what we do. And the third one is we're focused on mastery learning. So our whole sessions are all designed around 4 key areas. We always provide the foundational knowledge, what it is that is going to be learned that day. And if people want details, we can give them later. Yep. But we focus on what's the core essence. We then get interactive, highly interactive. And you remember.
Oh, yeah. This is where Matthew failed at a few of the challenges.
Wow.
So
I was failing right alongside you.
We have these interactive moments that make it so engaging that we boast a 100% engagement minus sickness.
It was, it was amazing, and I'll cut in quickly. We had 3-hour sessions. They flew by.
Yeah.
Flew by.
Yeah.
I think every one of our team members was like, it's 9 to noon, it's done.
Yeah.
It was incredible. Sorry.
Yeah. And so that interactive engagement is really, really important. Once we have interactive engagement, then we have that live practice, which is those activities you're referring to. We create scenarios where people are cooked under pressure to then see, how are you actually going to apply this thing that we just talked about? And then finally, and most importantly, we reflect. We reflect on what you learn. How did that help you? Where are you going to use this next? And that iterative process of going through those 4 stages, the foundational knowledge, the interactive engagement, the live practice, and then the reflective debrief, all together facilitates mastery learning, which is what we really want. We want people to reach higher levels of mastery over time.
You have quickly jumped into the Chamber Network as a great partner, and it's because I want to say that you understand the community collaboration element of what we do here. But what do you see Windsor-Essex as an entire community looking like over the next 15, 20 years? So let's say by 2040, where do you see Windsor-Essex as a whole growing?
You hear all kinds of things, and I'm an optimist first and foremost. So
all of the people at this table are.
Yeah. So
we're not even at a table.
But there's a table here. So my answer will be more in the optimistic avenue. There are those who feel like people might be fixed in their ways, and you hear that in every city, by the way. But what I'm noticing is this thirst and interest. The speaker series is a great example of that. This thirst and interest for growth, for change, for shifting dynamics and greater collaboration. I'm seeing organizations, businesses collaborate in a way that I've never seen before, really, historically. I'm seeing people of the same industry working together and collaborating rather than seeing someone as their competition. They're looking at, well, where are we unique and that we don't overlap? And then let me help refer to you and vice versa. We're seeing those kinds of things. So where I'd like to see and where I do see it growing, if we continue the pace and the momentum that we're building right now, especially with things like you're doing this year during the 150th, which is amazing that we're at that milestone already.
Yeah, it's great.
I see us having even greater collaboration and working together. That network of individuals, the small business owner represents the majority of the chamber members. I see them all being able to collaborate and work together through leadership like the chamber and receiving resources and support in a way where we're going to see many businesses growing at a national and international scale that are rooted in Windsor. And out in more diverse fields, because what I'm seeing happen in Windsor-Essex is we have our strengths. You know, we have our manufacturing, we have greenhouses, we have IT is another great strength. Also the arts. We have a high density of the arts in this region. So we have a lot that's really going for us. And I believe all we need to do is just continue to tap into that strength and support each other in moving forward. And that's where I do see it heading. And, you know, as a new chamber member, when I was looking, I actually ended up at the chamber because I was wanting to get the healthcare plan.
Yeah.
That's what drew me
Chamber
in
plan.
at first,
Yep.
the chamber plan. And so anyone who doesn't have one or is wondering where to get one, I would totally grab the chamber plan. It's an excellent level plan. I was a teacher before, and I would compare it to about 80% of what I was getting as a teacher. So it was a really solid plan. That's what drew me in. But once I got in, I said, look at all this networking, look at all the opportunities, look at all of the ways in which you can interact in an organized way and tap into all the other aspects of the city. So I do see that starting to grow. Things like your small business summit that you ran recently are great examples of how there is a thirst for that and an interest.
Yeah.
And I think all we need to do is just keep this momentum going and keep building and creating spaces for other businesses to gather.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Justin. I think that's a perfect way to end today's episode. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate the partnership, Affinity
Absolutely.
Partner. Again, Ryan mentioned it for anyone who is listening in. If you're interested in getting more information about that, you can check out the Affinity Partner page on our website, windsoressex.org. Justin, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It's been really great to be here with you once again. I love working with you guys. And, you know, our partnership with the Chamber has been a really fulfilling aspect of our growth strategy, actually, was we realized this was the right time for us. And so I do encourage other businesses in Windsor-Essex to consider what level they want to be engaged. I don't think it's a matter of if, it's just what level
Right.
do you want to be engaged with the Chamber?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, that's how we bridged small business and entrepreneurship to the business community here in Windsor-Essex. Again, From Beyond to Bridges podcast, I'm Matthew. That's Ryan. We will see you on the next episode.
Thank you.
Thanks.